Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer. We're taking a look at another online replay. I'll be taking the vampire counts, and I am facing up against Norska on one of the new Norscan maps. I believe this is the Wintertooth Crown map. Very fun time. Not a matchup I've seen too much. I haven't played it a whole lot, but it is a very interesting matchup. We'll go over the army composition here. My forces are led by Elsif himself, the Red Duke. He is mounted up on a Hellsteed. He's got Invocation of Nehek, Raised Dead, Elsif, Red Fury, Undeath Resurgent, Arcane Conduit, The Hunger, all the goodies. Well, maybe not all the goodies. He doesn't have Wind of Death, but most of the goodies. We also have the Vampire Lady Lore of Shadows. She's got the regeneration ability, the leadership buff, as well as the map-wide speed buff. So she's not carrying any spells. Really, the main reason to bring her is because she's a decent combatant, she has regeneration, and she also has the leadership buff and the speed buff. So this map-wide speed buff, very important for the vampires, especially for their heavy cavalry. Definitely a good time. For my main line here, it's mostly zombies with some crypt horrors mixed in. The Sternsman for some spinal support, I guess you could say. A couple skeleton spears on each flank. We also have this Blood Knight here. And the main reason I wanted to show you guys this replay is this guy right here, the Terrorgheist. So the Terrorgheist got a cost reduction in this past patch, and it is a fairly viable unit against Norska, I think, because the main unit Norska has that's the biggest danger to the vampires is mammoths. And although this is a feral mammoth, only 30 armor isn't going to be as dangerous. The War Shrine mammoth and the armored mammoth, they are very, very dangerous to the vampires, and I think that with the cost reduction, the Terrorgheist is only 100 more gold than Blood Knights, and I think is a very good counter to the mammoths, because it does have armor piercing. It also has anti-large. Doesn't have the greatest weapon strength, but 240 armor piercing plus a 40 bonus versus large is pretty considerable. Doesn't have amazing combat stats, but it does have regeneration and poison attacks. So overall, pretty good. 80 armor as well is nothing to sneeze at. You know, the Feral Mammoths and the Chaos Mammoths do have heavy armor piercing, so it won't be super pertinent. But if it does get charged by something like Berserkers or something else, it does have the armor to help withstand. Against the Marauders, I definitely like the Terrorgheist. I haven't tested him too much against other factions, but in this matchup, it's going to be a good time. For my opponent's force, he's got a center of Marauder Spearmen here, backed up by Marauder Hunters with a Marauder Berserker and the Brutes of the Hound on this flank, and the Icehorn Marauders and another unit of Marauder Berserkers over on this flank. So hoping to, probably expecting Crypt Horrors and other units. He also has these two Marauder Hunters with throwing axes here, and this is, well, one of my critiques of this build would definitely be that these Marauder Hunters should be the Javelin variant. They have better range. The anti-large is very, very good. They have very high missile damage overall, so I would definitely recommend bringing the Javelins rather than these Marauder Hunters, just because these guys have pretty pitiful range. My opponent does also have Wulfrik the Wanderer on foot here with a Skin Wolf Werekin bodyguard. He also has the Regiment of Renowned Beasts of Tashnar here, the Norscan Warhounds with their anti-large bonus. And over here, he does have two units of regular Skin Wolves, so the unarmored variant of Skin Wolves. So we'll go ahead and kick things off here as I march forward. My opponent has not discovered these Blood Knights. Likewise, I do not know these Beasts of Tashnar are here. So I'm going to bring the Terrorgheist up and start to do a bit of scouting around. My opponent did reveal these Skin Wolves as I was scouting around with the Red Duke and the Vampire Lady. So we're going to maybe threaten them. Probably not a good idea to come in against these guys since they do have heavy weapon strength with a nice anti-large bonus. Not necessarily armor piercing, but overall, 21 armor piercing plus 30 bonus versus large is a total of 51 weapon strength versus large units. So definitely not wanting to charge in there. We're going to fast forward here as I approach, and my unit of Blood Knights is going to come over here, and they will discover this Beasts of Tashnar. My opponent is trying to keep them hidden. But we are going to discover them and promptly get a charge order in here and absolutely lay a smackdown on these guys. Even though they have anti-large, they didn't get a counter charge, and against an elite unit like Blood Knights, they will lose pretty hard. So you can see they're already down to 38, dropping quickly, 36, make that 33 models, and since they're right here next to the edge of the map, we're going to be able to fairly easily rout them off. Over here, we are preparing to get the mainline engagement underway. I have moved my Terrorgheist around to my enemy's rear lines, just trying to pressure him, hoping to pull away these Marauder Hunters, but they haven't taken the bait. Again, because of the short range here, they're not able to shoot very far. If he had brought the Javelins, he could probably be firing on these Crypt Horrors maybe about now. So I definitely would recommend bringing the Javelins rather than the Marauder Hunters. These guys might be useful against the Dwarves, but even then I would still probably not take them. I don't know, just their range just makes them really hard to use. So I'm gonna get the LC flying over here. We're gonna summon up some zombies right on top of these Marauder Hunters, not allowing them to fire now that my units are actually in range, and these Crypt Horrors charging in, actually getting into the Marauder Hunters, breaking through the lines. They're gonna take some damage from the spears, but with their regeneration, they should be able to hold. However, the Skinwolves are responding, and Skinwolves are a pretty good counter to Crypt Horrors, because Crypt Horrors don't have a ton of armor, and the anti-large bonus to the Skinwolves will definitely apply there. You can see the Terrorgheist has come down and has engaged on the Feral Mammoth, so the Terrorgheist won't get pushed around too much by the Mammoth. It doesn't quite have as much mass. You can see my opponent is wisely pulling away the Feral Mammoth. I'm using these zombies to block a charge here. I didn't quite get it in the right spots. The Skinwolves will be able to push through. They're going to get here onto this Terrorgheist, but with the 80 armor, it should be able to hold fairly well with the 80 armor and the regeneration. Nice Invocation of Nehek dropping on this flank from Elsif. Him and his lady friend got a rear charge in these Marauder Berserkers, trying to break him, but they didn't quite break. However, the Mammoth is in big trouble now, getting surrounded by spears. Beautiful Sea Fang from my opponent here there, cutting through quite a few of my forces, but mostly it's just getting zombies. And you can see the zombies over on this flank are getting beat down fairly hard, but they are lasting a while, which is the main idea there. Over here, the main fight, you can see this Feral Mammoth is getting punished pretty hard, and this is why I would recommend you bring the Armored Mammoth. And the Feral Mammoth is, I'm not really sure of a matchup where this guy would be useful, just because he doesn't have great leadership, he doesn't have a lot of armor, so he'll take a lot of damage from low-tier spears like this. The Terrorgheist as well is doing a lot of damage. It's actually fighting up against these Skinwolves right now, which is, I believe the anti-large bonus does apply to Skinwolves, so he's munching on these Marauders as well, the Brutes of the Hound and the Marauder Spears, and because of the regeneration, he is taking some damage, but it's not anything too substantial, and the Terror is taking effect as well, which is very, very useful. Terror seems to be pretty good against Norska. The Skinwolves do have Frenzy, so they're immune to Psychology if their leadership's high, but if you can manage to get their leadership low enough, they'll lose the Frenzy, they'll lose the immunity to Psychology. You can see I charged down with the Red Duke here, dropped Elsif on Wulfrik the Wanderer, but it wasn't a good idea at all. This Skinwolf Werekin got in, and he's smacking around the Red Duke very hard. I'm trying desperately to escape, now screening with the Blood Knights and getting the Terrorgheist over here. The Terrorgheist will be able to deal with the Skinwolf Werekin fairly effectively. Both have regeneration, armor-piercing, anti-large, so it's kind of a, tit-for-tat matchup. But with the Blood Knights in support, as well as the Terrorgheist, this Skinwolf Werekin is in for a very, very bad time. You can see the Mammoth has been routed off. It is now rallying and coming back. These forces over here are starting to crumble. I've lost a few units of zombies, but no big deal. They're just zombies. We still have this very, very healthy blob here. The Red Duke barely escaped with 154 hit points, but he is able to, continue to support my own troops here. I do have the Vampire Lady as well, just kind of chilling here. We're going to get her going after some of these targets down here. Over here, the Blood Knights just try to rout off the Skinwolf Werekin as we brought the Terrorgheist back to deal with the Mammoth. Once again, some more Titanic combat here. Getting a nice view of this, this fight here as they kind of swing at each other. I'd imagine the Mammoth is not going to be too happy here. Being poisoned and taking quite a bit of damage from the Terrorgheist here. You can see the Terrorgheist does get an XP Chevron already, and looks like we're casting some more Raised Dead here. Just try to apply the attack in the rear penalty to all these troops and rout them off. You can see these Spearmen now being routed. These Berserkers are wavering, really only being held together by the Enrage. But most of my opponent's forces are fairly low on leadership. Balance of power is starting to shift in my favor. You can see the Blood Knights over here just cleaning up the Skin Wolves. And Blood Knights will do fairly well against Skin Wolves. They, you know, the anti-large of the Blood Knights and their heavy charge bonus, heavy armor, the frenzy, you know, a lot of good stuff going in their favor. So very, very fun stuff. The Skin Wolves are now broken, and with that, most of my opponent's forces shatter. Only Wulfrik the Wanderer himself remains, as well as a lot of these units here who are barely hanging on, just now routing here with the Spearmen and these Marauder Berserkers. These Spearmen are wavering. The Iceborne Marauder is still fairly healthy. We're going to bring in the Vampire Lady, and that rear charge is enough to rout these spears. The Brutes, the Iceborne Marauder is still holding out though. But at this point, my opponent's forces are pretty well tattered, and we're looking at the balance of power here. It's starting to shift more and more, kind of start to slide, and the army losses do mount. Another great Sea Fang there, but not quite enough to pull it back. And yeah, that'll be game. Well played to my opponent. Very much enjoyed that. I definitely like the Terrorgheist a lot against Norska now. I think that was, that wasn't necessarily the best anti-vampire build. Again, you'd probably want to bring the War Shrine or the Regiment of Renown Mammoth, or any of the armored variants of Mammoth would probably be a better pick. But even still, the Terrorgheist did very, very well in taking down the Mammoth, helped to take down the Skin Wolves and the Werekin, the Blood Knights as well. 121 kills and 2 chevrons. Very, very impressive. Helping to take down this Regiment of Renown unit of Hounds. Didn't do anything because of the Blood Knights. Zombies, pretty much just getting killed, which is what they're there for. 73 kills on the Sternsman is nothing to laugh about. The Cryptor is doing okay, getting a respectable number of kills. Not too much from the Red Duke or the Vampire Lady, but again, mostly just there for support. Yeah, so overall MVP is definitely this Terrorgheist and the Blood Knights. I would say both are good options against Norska, for sure. For my opponent's forces, a lot of zombie kills across the line here, and inflating the kill numbers for a lot of these units quite a bit. They mopped up a lot of those zombies, but again, not a great trade for them because mostly they were just bogged down. Again, my critiques of this build, cut the Marauder Hunters with the throwing axes and get the Javelin variants. Maybe get see if you can pinch some pennies somewhere and either get Wulfrik on a Mammoth, or get Wulfrik on a Mammoth plus another Mammoth, or, get the War Shrine Mammoth. Just something besides the Feral Mammoth. It is a decent pick. Got 54 kills, but I did get shut down pretty hard by that Terrorgheist and those spears. So a little bit tough. The Skin Wolves also not necessarily being cost-effective. 89 kills on Wulfrik. He got some really great Sea Fangs and was just standing in there being a beast. Very good in this matchup, I think. Him or Throg, just because, the vampires obviously don't have any fire damage. So either one, I think, would be a good pick. Wulfrik on the Mammoth, I think, would probably be the most ideal, although the regeneration from Throg makes him more resistant to Spirit Leech and being sniped. It's hard to say. Tell me what you guys think. But I'm loving the Terrorgheist, man. With the cost reduction, it's a lot more cost effective, and in this matchup specifically, I think it's a very, very good pick. Tell me what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed watching that battle. I know I enjoyed playing it. Well played to my opponent. If you're enjoying the content, like and subscribe. Share with your friends. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.